I remember back around September 2020, there was a surge of VTuber clips sprouting all across my YouTube recommendation. I was aware of their existence before, but had no interest in any VTuber or Japanese culture related content at the time. However, fast forward to now, I had fallen deep into the rabbit hole abyss, and I myself have become a VTuber. Heyo there, my name is Zombie Mana, or for a non-gamer name, you could call me Zamriel Mana. It sounds more realistic anyway. That's the name I always use when I play RPGs, might as well make it my actual name, but I much prefer Zombie Mana. So most of you are likely new viewers, so I won't get into introducing myself right now. I'll save it for around the end of the video if you decide to stick around. What I want to get into is showcasing how I managed to create this VTuber avatar myself. A quick background story: prior to making a VTuber, I created a PNG tuber instead. This is connected to the VTuber story. If you know about PNG tubers, you'll understand how they are made, but the main topic is VTubers, so I won't get into full detail. After I completed my PNG tuber, played around with it, I stared at my boy and remembered how fun it was learning how to make it. The thought of making a VTuber lingered around my head for some time before, but seeing that I managed to successfully create a PNG tuber, I finally decided to tackle being both the artist and rigger of my own VTuber model. I knew it was going to be a challenge creating one, so I did plenty of online research before starting the drawing process. Absolutely no money has been spent creating this model unless you count the PC and drawing pad. I could bullshit you that it's a YouTube challenge, but it's simply because I'm cheap. Using a free drawing program Krita, I sketched my VTuber badly at first. Now, the Zombie Mana design has been with me for decades, even before I knew what OC means, original characters. So there is childhood history with this character, and it's great that he's finally coming to life. Keeping it short, when I was a kid, I was inspired by the Minecraft zombie for my dark sclera eyes, Devil May Cry Dante for my white hair and outfit, combining with Assassin's Creed for the hood back when I only drew the hooded version of me, which later then I learned how to draw hair. Well, kind of, I'm still learning. Yes, it is very basic. I like simplistic design, and it's very easy to draw consistently. It's fine, many successful VTuber updated their old models. I'll improve in due time. Alright, about my sketch, I did said I've done some research. Apparently not enough, cause this was not drawn symmetrically, and I had to resketch it all. I'll admit I'm not a very skilled artist, but I should have sufficient enough knowledge to be able to do a VTuber avatar. I got rid of this old sketch and made a new current sketch with the help with the symmetrical ruler built into the program. I made this sketch instead, which is far more symmetrical. I know you are able to make a VTuber avatar asymmetrical, but for a newbie like me, it's probably better off making it completely symmetric. Also, if you notice, I decided to make my character do a fist, cause I have no idea how to draw hands. A majority part of the sketch is mirrored other than the hair. After learning that, I knew that it was gonna be a challenge when I go into the rigging process. I actually wanted to do a time lapse to show the drawing process, but then I realized that I'm not that fast at drawing and people will probably see how bad I actually am at digital art. So I decided to just take my sweet time with it. Alright, so it took a while for me to go through my layers, for me to showcase my line art. It's kind of embarrassing to show you this, because I realized how messy it is. I want to give credit though to one YouTube channel that helped me the most. It's Hodusei's channel. It's not really a tutorial video, but it's more of a time-lapse of a full VTuber model making. I kind of loosely follow what they do, watching it in slower speed, but her video really helped a lot, even though it's not really a tutorial video. So there are two ways to make a VTuber avatar, right? From what I learned, you can either draw it already separated, which is why my sketch looked like this. The arms are already kind of section off, or you can draw the whole thing already and you can dissect them. I chose the former method, which is drawing them separately already. So let me explain this abomination. So every part of my body can actually move individually, but due to the limitation of the tracking program or maybe lack of knowledge, I can't really move my arms right now, so I don't know what's with that. I'll show you later in the live 2D section of the video. I pretty much follow one-to-one the sketch and do the line art, but separately in terms of the body. So about the face, which is the most important important part of a VTuber model. So we got my front hair over here. What I learned is since it's not a symmetrical hair, each part of the hair is sectioned off. So we got the middle hair over here. We got the left side of the hair and the right side of the hair, right? My hair actually doesn't do anything, so what I've done there was completely useless. So I'll get to that later and explain. You really have to relearn your basic understandings on drawing characters. So it was very weird when I also had to learn to draw the back hair. If I were to move it around, there we go. That's my hair right there. Very odd to relearn everything you know about drawing. Alright, I'm gonna speed up the showcase, if not we're gonna be here forever. So the reason my neck looks like that is so that the head can tilt in an axis, so there won't be any clipping issues whenever I tilt my head, as well as whenever I warp the head in any direction that I want to. So the eyes, alright, the eyebrows are separate of course, as well as my luscious eyelash. The top eyelash is separated. I learned that. The bottom eyelid, even the wrinkles of my eyes, the upper wrinkles of my eyes, they're all separated. Of course, before I learn why am I separating it, I might as well do it before I regret it later. Because once you start to rig it, you'll realize that every part of the body should be separated if you want an easier time rigging, because I did definitely do some mistakes when I was doing it, even including the sclera color. If I turn off the line art of the eye, the coloring of my dark sclera isn't smooth, right? Because during rigging, some of these colors pokes out of my eyes. In fact, if you even pay close attention to the model currently, there might be some textures poking out, but it's not too bad, so I kind of left it there. Make sure all your lines, literally everything, is properly drawn. Overall, surprisingly, the eyes isn't the most challenging part. The most challenging is actually the mouth. Alright, looking at this, it looks like a fine mouth, right? However, this is already a mistake. I should have drawn the mouth already closed. Alright, if I were to close my mouth right now, it's fine, right? But in Live 2D, you kind of have to make your mouth open manually. So if it's drawn already open, this means I have to make it close. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. So of course, the inside of the mouth is separated, as well as the tongue, the bottom teeth, and the upper teeth, as well as that little nose over there. And surprisingly, what I also learned about VTubers, that their shadows are separated as well. This is my head shadow. It follows the shadow of my hair, so that's why it looks like that. Same goes with the shadow on my neck. It is separated. I never would have thought the shadows of a VTuber model is a different asset, because you want it to move alongside with your head, of course using a warp technique, to give an illusion of shadows moving. So this is how a neck shadow would look like if it were to move up and down. In terms of my clothing, I kind of did a trick here. This is what I thought of. My forearms is colored that way, right? This is for me to make an illusion. Yes, I covered my pelvis there just in case YouTube sees nudity. Because how badly I drawn the clothes, it doesn't follow the shape of the body. You can see some overlapping over there of the skin, the thighs, overlapping of the feet. So what I did was, on the layers over there on my right, I turned off the pelvis, the thighs. We don't need the shins since the pants is already covering it. My foot, there we go, clipping issue fixed, as well as the hands. The glove hand is completely different. You can already see why my forearm was colored that way, is to simulate shadows. And then the bicep arms. There we go. That is how I do my VTuber model. It's very scuffed, but it works. And we got the back hoodie here. So the clothes is pretty much the same as the body. The hoodie is separated. The upper section of the jacket is separated. The bottom, the sleeve, the bottom sleeve. By now you understand how it works, right? Alright, so actually this isn't really my final product. This next file is the one that is properly made, where everything is more cut off properly and named properly. Even everything is merged. The lines and the colors are merged together. Up there is called the VTuber Zombie Unmerged. That's the unmerged file, and this is the complete file. I had to redraw this a lot during the rigging. So everything is separate right to left, like the sclera, the right sclera, the left sclera, as well as the body, the left side of the jacket, the right side of the jacket. I don't know if I needed to do that. It's probably unnecessary, but again, if it works, it works. I would appreciate anyone who have made a VTuber model before to give me some notes, some tips, maybe even roast me on my horrible methods. Gladly appreciate comments that will help me improve more. Oh, I forgot to even mention, I should have used a different pen. This is not a very smooth pen. If you were to enhance, you can see some of the green screen. Like my jacket right now, you see how translucent it is? That's already a mistake. Since I'm still learning digital art, never have I ever created this much layers. Oh my goodness. Creating a VTuber model requires so much layers, even more so when I haven't merged them yet. It gives me a more appreciation and respect to people who makes VTuber models for a living. Alright, that should be the entire process on how I drew the VTuber model. I did omitted some details, but I should have already covered all the struggles that I had to endure during the drawing process, and not the little things that I don't really need to cover. So with that, let's move on and talk about the rigging process in Live 2D. In terms of drawing, I already have an understanding of the arts and basic function of the program. For Live 2D, however, it is a completely new field for me. I had to mentally prepare myself for a while before starting. I used the free trial version of Live 2D, so I do have all the paid capability of the program, but I'm not making full use of it unfortunately during the duration of my trial. After exporting my drawing into a PSD file and importing it in Live 2D, I had to find a proper guide cause everything in this program is foreign to me. So I needed some help. A lot of help. Sifting through countless videos, one other YouTube channel has helped me immensely. It is Chupoko's channel. I highly recommend checking out her Live 2D step-by-step guide, as it pretty much covers everything a beginner requires. Of course, Odyssey and Chupoko was the MVP in helping me. Other miscellaneous tutorial channel helped as well when I needed specific assistance. Okay, I'm going to mention the issues that happened when I was learning and creating this model, since everything is repeating what the guide did. So again, just watch her video if you wanna know how exactly I did it. My model and the example guide model is drastically different. I had to improvise applying my own understanding of the program to fix some of the problems. So in the program, I learned how to organize a bit all of my files, but I didn't organize it 100%. But since organization is not a very important factor, I kind of ignored that step. I just get good and remember where I put everything. On my right there is all the folders for every piece of my body. So step 1 was optional organization. Alright, from step by step in the guide, I start with one of the eye. Right now the resolution isn't very good because of this texture outlasting, I believe. My current model isn't 1024, but that's the texture size it was set on last time I was using Live 2D. I just haven't changed it for this. Speaking of which, that's already all the available parts that I've been working on. So the Live 2D sensei taught us how to do the eyes first. So the first thing I work on is the left eye, according to the model. As to why we were working on a singular eye is because you can copy paste everything you did on one eye to the other eye. I'm so glad that was an option. I thought we wouldn't be able to do that. I thought that we would have to rig left eye and right eye separately. So that was a lifesaver. Oh gosh, low resolution. When I was working on it, the texture wasn't rendered. So it was still high resolution. It wasn't this blurry mess. Do you see those green files on the left there? Those are called warps. Adding a warp means you're adding shall I say, life to each part of the body. They are able to move. You can give them meat and bones, essentially. This is gonna be a stupid way of explaining. I'll only cover this once, and so you have a general understanding on how it works. So the top eyelash, right? Once you give it some meat, which is that over here, the correct term is called a mesh. So this singular part of the eye is now able to move around. Like if I were to move one of these white dots, you can move the texture around, and the green dots over there are the joints, like the bones. It allows me to move it like a worm. I'm so glad I'm not a guide channel. I would be horrible at explaining. Alright, okay. You understand how it works now? Right? No? Yeah. Alright. Okay. So, after I did all that, I'm now able to set parameters, which is on the bottom left there, around my cursor. So this is during its idle state. If I were to move it to the right, I can widen my eyes more. Just focus on the top lash, and if I were to move it down, it closes my eye. Yeah, that of course same goes with the bottom one. After I learn how to move the top one, I have to learn how to move the bottom one, as well as the sclera as a separate entity in order to hide it, to give that close eye illusion. Remember that I mentioned about the texture poking out? Do you barely see that blue outline there, that blue texture coming out? That's what I mean when I drew the sclera improperly, because when it moves, you can see the texture poking out slightly. So that was one of the difficulties, but I managed to move it around to a point where it's very barely noticeable from like a distance. And I actually had to redraw this entire eye. It's because I made the wrinkles as one single layer alongside with the bottom eyelid. I was unable to move it around smoothly. It's very interesting how the eyes move, because when you close the eye, you have to understand how a closed eye would look like and how not to make it look weird. So this is the shape that I'm settled with, and I really wanted luscious eyelash, so I have pointed up eyelash. When it goes down, it points down. What I love about Chupuko's guide is she also brings out subtle details that you don't really need to add, but it does give a lot more life to it. Because when I widen my eyes, it contracts, and small details like this, it definitely makes the model more alive. Look at me, look at my eyes, stare into my eyes. If you smile in real life, your cheeks goes up, right? And it should make your eyes a little smaller. So that's my eyes smiling, and my eyes smiling while widened, I guess. So when I'm smiling, my eyes should go up instead, and that's when it's not smiling. I set my model to constantly smile, so it's in a state like in between, where it's kind of smiling and not smiling at the same time, so that's lovely. If I have a better tracking, my eyebrows should have a lot of forms actually. I'm unable to showcase it in the model. I guess when I widen my eyes, it does tilt more. And that's pretty much everything I did in day 1. Which are the eyes, as well as day 2 would be the eyebrows. As a newbie, it took a while to figure it out, but eventually I understand what are warps, what are parameters, what are the deformers, meshes, the angular thingy, because I don't want to just follow the guide. I want to understand the program. That's the best way of learning. Don't just follow the guide, understand the guide. Yeah, put that in the book. Of course, I forgot to showcase my jiggly eyes. Woo, look at that. Woo. When I look down, my pupils disappear. But it's not an issue, so I left it there. Now, the mouth, if you remember, gave me the most struggle. I had to redraw it as well. It doesn't reset your entire progress if you were to replace the file, so I'm so glad for that. This is a great opportunity to showcase what my mouse can actually do. Not in a lewd way, of course. So in standard state, let me show you what my mouth do. You can do that. That's when I'm opening. That's what my mouth is supposed to look like when I'm not smiling. On this form, on slightly sad, it should look like that. Slight open, big, oh. That's my sad face, kind of disgusted sad face. No, this is my disgusted face. And this is my mega sad face. And my smiling face, where you see the most. That's such a devious face. Am I able to set that as a toggle? What a devious face. Looks like I'm up to no good. So my struggle was the face skin. Due to it being unsmooth, it was rather difficult. Oh gosh. It was rather difficult to move it around. If I were to move it around, you can see the movement of the mesh. So that's one of the issues that took me forever. That includes the top one. But after countless of hours of messing around with the mouth, I managed to make it look fine. In the end, it was rather fun making the shapes of the mouth. Alright, so the biggest thing for a VTuber model. Hey, so, ha, ha, hey, ha. I don't know why I'm doing this. Ha, ha. When I reached the tilting of the head part of the guide, that was really exciting. I feel like a kid when I tilted my head. This is a warp. As it moves, each section of the warp moves along with it to give the shape of a tilting head illusion. It's very fascinating to move around a PNG to give an illusion of a tilting head. Here we go. I turn myself bold for ease of viewing. It's able to tilt up and down, but I'm unable to show you on the model right now. So one of the problem is I made it able to turn too much. Thanks to the program, I can't actually tilt my head that far. You see how weird it looks like? I made it tilt way too much, man. It was rather hard to make the eyes match up with the tilting of the head. If I were to go to the eyes here, this is the eye tilting right. Look at the shape of the warp. So front facing, it's just straight, and then it just warps weirdly like that. But it's in order to make it look somewhat normal. Up and down was rather easy though. All this parameter, all these squares here, you have to edit it one by one. You have to edit the shape of looking right while looking up, looking right, looking down while looking right. And of course you can copy it to the other side. But it's a learning experience, and I learned quite a lot. I say I successfully did the eyes and the mouth. However, I think I failed my hair. Due to how I drew my hair, there's actually not enough section for it to move around. It's probably because it's an asymmetrical hair and it's rather hard for a beginner to figure that out themselves. But my hair warps very weirdly if I were to move it around. Why is that? What the fuck is that? What? Excuse me? Look at that! What's wrong with my hair, dude? Oh gosh! Oh no! I've never even thought of how my head would look like tilting this way. This is the problem if I don't have a concept art. I don't know how my character would look like facing left and right, actually. Fully left and right. So for next time, I have to... Oh, see, look at the shape. Look at the shape of the warp, man. Alright, enough of that. After learning the angle X and Y of the head, I also included the Z angles. So I can tilt around like that. I can slightly do it. Yeah, I'm able to kind of do it. Yeah. You can see the neck also slightly tilts. And witness the neck shadow tilting along with the head. When I was making it, the more I crafted it, the more excited I get. When I successfully created the eye, it gave me more confidence that I will be able to make my own VTuber model. Progressing with the mouth later on, and then the head, I get more and more excited, man. I'm about to be a VTuber. I think that's everything that I want to talk about in Live 2D. In my video, this isn't a tutorial, more of a showcase on how my model works. And I'm just covering all the things that I did and all the problems that I encountered. Now, if I were to go to modeling and open the physics option, you can see it in action. How it would supposed to look like with all the available movements. It looks really good, right? It's pretty good for a beginner model. My first ever model in Live 2D. This is probably a better showcase. A slight movement of my hands, my feet going up and down. Very bouncy. The guide video is really good. It covers a lot of things to make your VTuber model stand out. Oh, I actually omitted one thing, which is my hair physics. Because of the stupid way I draw my hair, hair physics is rather difficult to do because I would be unable to do a more natural flowing hair. So let's just pretend that my hair has a lot of wax on it or something, so it's unable to move. If only I'm able to make my model do that. Has a lot more emotions and personality to it. Look at him. Look at my boy go. The eye should have a slight jiggle when it opens and closes, but it's barely noticeable. Oh yeah. Do you saw that? Gosh, I wish I can move my head like that. Apologies for the low IQ way of showcasing my Live 2D process. I'm sure some of you are wondering how long did it actually take for me to create my model. The drawing process, I didn't lock down how long it take exactly, since that one I just kind of take my time with it. I was in no rush in completing it. For rigging in Live 2D, since it's a completely new program to me, I worked on it approximately 4 days, 9 hours of work every day. So around 36 hours of consistent work. It was very surprising when I completed it that fast. That guide really helped me. I thought it would take way longer. Maybe at least 1 to 2 weeks. For anyone interested in making their own model and have watched people doing Live 2D modeling, it did look very overwhelming. But for me, obviously, after understanding what each function does, the program pretty much becomes so clear and surprisingly very easy that it's less overwhelming. So get on with it. People who wants to make their own model, go forth. Become a VTuber yourself. Create one. Unless, you know, you don't have plenty of time in your day, unlike me, who stays at home all day, you know. With the completion of the model, the last thing I needed to do was search for a VTuber face tracking program. It didn't take long, as a quick googling directed me to VTube Studio, a tracking program available on Steam. There are other options that I haven't explored, but VTube Studio works very well for now. Alright, so this is VTube Studio. When you run the app, this is the default look. Double click to bring up the menus. The program comes with their own default avatars, but of course I want to use my own model, so I imported my model after I rendered it from Live 2D, and here's my model over there. It is the Zombie Mana model, so if I load him up here, and there's Zombie Mana. The webcam camera isn't on right now, so it's not tracking my face, but it is tracking my microphone. That's why its mouth is moving. Look at that! I made this dude, completely crafted by me. I am your dad and I am your mom. So clearly, after rendering my model from Live 2D, it works very well. The physics works fine. But I want to change this background because it's very bright. So there are many options of background. I believe you can put in your own background. I often use background 8, which is the green screen. It works well if I'm using OBS, my recording software. But let's go to the peaceful part. I'm not gonna go through everything on this application. I just wanna talk about a few issues along the way that I adjusted so that my model works more fine. On the top left, we go to camera and I can turn on my camera. I am using a webcam. I believe using a phone is more better since a phone has more advanced face tracking. However, a webcam works fine as well. I actually just adjusted the webcam settings a bit. So in the previous segments of the video, the tracking wasn't as good, but now it's a lot more better. It can detect if I'm making a sad face, like, yeah, oh yeah, now I look angry. There are many settings that you can mess around here. I want to find the one that I change. I believe it's on the next setting. Ah, yes, fantastic. You can set how much your model would move. The physics settings. This is where my model moves automatically. You can see my body sways left and right slightly. If I were to change it to like 100, it sways much more. Wind direction. There we go. It really pushes my head. Ah! Where is this strong wind coming from? Okay. Alright, you get the point, you get the point. There's a problem that I haven't figured out and solved yet. From time to time, my right eye blinks on its own. Just the singular eye. And I don't know what's causing it. I have around 3 theories. It is probably the lighting in my room, because right now in real life, there's more light on my left side than my right side. My second theory is, in real life, I actually do have long hair bangs that's covering my right eye, so it's probably blocking off my right eye often, which causes me to blink. And my final third theory is, it probably don't see my eyes because I am Asian. For real though, somewhere around down here, I had to by default increase the detections of my eye. Yeah, if it's set to, I think it was set to 1. I already changed it ages ago. This was already adjusted for the model to match up with my face. VTube Studio is racist? What? No, of course not. I'm just kidding. For the mouse smile, I increased it a bit, so my character won't be depressed all the time. I believe if I were to set it to 1, it's a bit harder to smile. I have to really smile in real life. I actually have to make an effort to smile to make my model smile, so I've set that to 2. Oh yeah, the next thing I did was set this to around 0.15. That's in order to make sure that my mouth doesn't try to open on its own. Sometimes it jitters as it thinks that I'm trying to open my mouth. Actually, I changed the input of my mouth open to use voice volume plus open mouth, so it has better detection if I were to actually speak, but if I were to not speak, it can still detect my mouth. That of course, by detecting volume, I have to mess around with microphone settings as well. Now you can obviously see that I'm using a HyperX Quadcast microphone. I put the volume cutoff to 0 and frequency gain to 0. So for my model, these are the optimal settings. But if you're doing your own model, you have to mess around with your own settings. Experiment a bit, see what's work, see what doesn't work, just to get to the right spot where your model functions properly. Right now, my model... see, you saw that? You saw that? I blink on my right eye. I mean... gosh, that right eye blinking. I would love some comments on how to fix that. I've already given the 3 possible reasonings. I haven't even mentioned that tiny creature on the bottom left there. That's due to the fact that I'm using the free version of VTube Studio. Both free and paid version does pretty much the same thing. That's only a watermark reasoning, but it's quite easy to hide it even though there's a watermark. So I think I'll just keep using the free version of VTube Studio. Ah! What happened to me? I don't want to be a busty anime girl. Take me back, please. Ah! With that marks the end of my VTuber model showcase. I'll have to admit, I'm not actually deep in the VTuber sauce, not super familiar with the VTuber community, nor do I watch VTubers as often as I used to. I am, first and foremost, just a person who makes videos on things I enjoy. The main topic is over, but I did say in the beginning of the video, I'll give a somewhat proper introduction of the channel. Hello everyone, welcome to the Zombie Manor channel. I've been uploading videos since technically 2012. Many of the old videos are either deleted or hidden. Formerly a variety channel, now somehow ended up primarily focusing on gacha/anime games. The content I provide involves my gacha pull attempts, sometimes gameplay videos, gacha related discussion, and my Did I Enjoy series, where I find enjoyable games to play and talk about them, which also includes gacha pulls. I still wish to go back to variety, but I'll build up this niche audience for now. That's the introduction to the channel. If I were to introduce myself, I'll save it for another time. I kinda wanna do one of those VTuber debut videos or livestream after I polish the quality of my model as well as the quality of my content. I'm always aiming to improve. Even this VTuber model right now, I'm thinking of eventually wanting to replace it with version 2. Consider this as the pilot model. This guy will be appearing in future videos from now on. It's great that I finally have a persona to my usually faceless videos. Other than that, I can use this guy to make lazier thumbnails instead of the custom ones, and perhaps I'll start live streaming more. No promises. Alright, this is the first time I've done this, although I should probably provide more ways of connecting with me. I don't do social media often, even so you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, as well as Twitch, where I'll try to be somewhat active. I upload YouTube content whenever I want to, however, please do expect that it will eventually come out, as I do have more videos planned. So, like and subscribe. I wish to see if I'm able to get 1,000 subscribers. Comment as well on your thoughts. You might get to see the improvement for version 2 of my VTuber model, I don't know. And of course, thank you so much for watching the VTuber creation showcase until the end of the video. I'm going to disappear now. Bye bye. Thanks so much for watching.